Hello, and welcome to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show podcast with Astrologer Shelley Overton. Hello, and welcome to the February 12th, 2021 edition of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show podcast with me, your friendly astrologer, Shelley Overton. It's good to have you here this week. We are going to be talking about astrology, what's in the sky, and also a little bit about what's coming up for Valentine's Day, or at least what romantic ventures we can all expect. So let's just get into it, shall we? Okay, so today is the 12th, like I said, and that means that Mercury and Venus will be conjunct tonight. And Mercury is communications, Venus is love. Conjunct, there is a cooperative energy. So Mercury is retrograde, and that means that Venus is moving forward in motion, and Venus is moving forward, and Mercury is going back over it. So they're meeting and they're exchanging information. The desire, what we see that we want to have happen. I just got a hit just now when I was telling you this because I was thinking about the impeachment trial. And, you know, for the Super Bowl, which I will also go back over, there was a lot of feminine energy. We had a new referee who is a woman, which is very significant in football. We had daughters on the field. There was a young woman at the opening who actually did the coin toss. Aquarius, Mercury, oh my gosh. But we're going to say nice things because we don't want to anger any planets in the heavens. So there's a strong energy at the Super Bowl of women. And now we still have this cluster, the stellium of planets in Aquarius, and Venus and Mercury will be crossing over each other and communicating. And so the hit that I got was that the impeachment trial, first off, I do believe that there is a potential for the unexpected. And Mercury talking to Venus today means that there may be women pleading the case of what's going on with this trial and influencing certain senators to vote a certain way. That their daughters and mothers and sisters and wives are all having a say about what this means for the country. And I know Mitch McConnell, his wife, definitely, she had a say over the insurrection, and she resigned her job with the government, and I believe she had an influence on Mitch McConnell afterwards, which may have calmed down a bit because as the trial continues, he may not have the same strength from her affecting him. So we've got Mercury and Venus joining up today, and it's Friday the 12th. We are going to see an influence, like I said, of women in every area, and specifically for Valentine's Day, that is going to influence us. Venus and Mercury are the energy of teachers and the energy of communicators, but in the sign of Aquarius, it is about having autonomy and having a voice that speaks to self and what women want as an ego personality. Mercury just passed the sun and a conjunction to the sun in the last few days. And yesterday was 23-degree new moon in Aquarius. So we had a lot of Aquarian energy influencing things this week and over the last weekend. Going into this next week, and of course for the next couple weeks, we're going to have still a lot of Aquarian energy. Today we have Sun at 24 Aquarius, Mercury at 15 Aquarius, Venus at 14 Aquarius, Jupiter at 12, and Saturn at 6 Aquarius. So that's 5 planets, and then we also have Pallas Athena in late degrees still, as far as I know. I haven't checked on it today. Let's just do a real quick check-in and see whether or not she's still in that sign. Yeah, she's at 22, so she's 2 degrees off of the sun today. Okay, and so Jupiter, Saturn, all in Aquarius. We're still going through this energy of authority, career, expansion of detachment, feeling like we don't necessarily want to be around other people or we don't want to engage in deeper emotional connections. We want to have our own voice. We want to call out hypocrisy. We want to set our boundaries. So all of that is going on. And then the moon today in Pisces, definitely a strong energy of feeling maybe overwhelmed emotionally. We've got some exhaustion coming in. Definitely by tomorrow you're going to feel it. So Saturday, Pisces moon feeling really sentimental, feeling sad, and not like we really want to be out in the public eye or doing things that put us kind of in the path of criticism or judgment. And then the moon joins with Neptune tomorrow, so of course we're going to have this feeling increased and exacerbated. And also to touch on Neptune, Neptune is squaring both the North and South Node right now. The North and South Node are in Gemini, North Node, and South Node Sagittarius at 17 degrees. And Neptune's at 19 degrees. So there is a T-square in the sky with the nodes and Neptune, which means that there is discord and distaste for the message that is being given by Neptune. Neptune is the sign of spirituality, desire, illusion, and interestingly enough, the nodes of fate are somewhat dealing a huge blow to the political delusion going on right now. And so I find that really the way and modality of the whole Trump era is say what you want to be true, whether or not it is, and ignore that anyone protests about it. So with this trial, we are having a lot of pushback, of course, because today, Friday, is when the Republicans have their say. Well, the Republicans, Trump has his say about what's going on. And there's pushback in the media and from the Republicans, not all of them though. There are some that are standing up. There are some that are thinking about breaking off and forming a new party. And so we've got a lot of upheaval going on with that. But Neptune direct is rather illusory and does fall more in the ideal category. Wherever Neptune falls in our charts, that's what our ideal situation in our lives is, how we want to live our lives as a lifestyle, as desires of what we want to bring in to make our lives better and more plush, more comfortable. So having Neptune direct, it's much more like embracing of that illusion as opposed to Neptune retrograde. And squaring the nodes of fate, though, is very big about a shift and a friction from what is fated to be. And because the nodes of fate, by their self-evident name, create a moment in time that is a destiny. And so having Neptune, the karmic, emotional planet, psychic awareness planet, we feel this friction between the North Node and Gemini, which is about ideas and moving towards ideas and also a duality. And it can be, it's the mischief maker, so to speak, of Gemini. And the South Node which is Sagittarius, and the one that wants to be on his way. You know, Sagittarians don't want to stick around and see what the consequences are, as a general rule. And so they basically bring out the information and then say, okay, here's what you need to know, I'm out of here. And so that energy is at odds with Neptune, which is giving us a very deep, visceral awareness of how we're all connected. And I would say, as far as the trial is concerned, definitely the people who are giving the trial, who are trying Trump for impeachment, were involved in the actual insurrection and the whole reason he's on trial now. And so they have a shared reality. They have shared connectivity to this event. And so going against that are the nodes of fate. Now, how is that going to play out? You know, we need to look at the nodes of fate and what the message is. And the message is awareness, enlightenment, awakening, understanding, and the collective spiritual or higher awareness of something. And it's also, in its lower form, the Gemini Sagittarius axis is self-interest. And I don't want to be beholden to anyone to tell me how to do things or how to be, which is also an energy that we see in Aquarius right now. But the Aquarian axis in the zodiac right now, and if you look at, I tell my daughter this, if you look towards the sun, don't look at the sun, right next to it is all of the other planets. So right next to the sun yesterday was the moon. We had Mercury, Venus fanning out, and then Jupiter and Saturn. So they are all in a row right next to the sun. So every day, this is what we're seeing. And then, of course, when the impeachment trial, the first day that it was up was a moon in Capricorn, which at the end agrees, and even past Pluto in Capricorn meant nothing would come from it when everybody was trying to get this impeachment trial dismissed. Like, oh no, we shouldn't even be doing this. It was a non-starter. You know, the moon was void, of course, when that vote happened at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Tuesday. And then we had Wednesday, which was technically the start of the trial. That's how I count it. Sorry if I'm nudging my microphone here. Technically, it started at noon on Wednesday when everybody gathered to begin the trial. Really, there was more of a vote on Tuesday, whether or not it was constitutional or legal or whatever you could do with it. Wednesday was the day they actually began the process of the trial. So noon on Wednesday is moon in Aquarius. Moon in Aquarius is the unexpected can happen. Right now, I would say everybody expects the Republicans to vote against this. And I don't necessarily think that that's what will happen. I'm hoping that they will awaken and realize that this is a significant moment in history. And this is really the crux of our country, whether or not we have the right to challenge the superior officer of our country and his authority, and where we see that office representing us as a country, and whether or not we're going to allow that person to have free reign. And it's quite honestly beyond whether or not Trump can run again. It's whether or not anybody else in the future can do the same type of thing. I mean, this is the cornerstone of our country, and honestly, I don't necessarily see it going forward the way people think it will. And part of it... Okay, so we're back. Anyway, I'm not really sure where my camera cut off, and so I'm just going to start from where I was at and basically reiterate just a little bit of it, that all the planets in Aquarius are showing us where we need to be independent, where we want to be independent, and honestly with Saturn there, where we have some restriction. Also, the nodes of fate are squaring Neptune right now, and with the impeachment trial potentially deciding what's going to happen on Saturday, the moon will be joining up with Neptune that day, and that means that there's a strong chance that whatever the decision is will be an idealized decision and at odds with what ultimately will be fate for that whole scenario. And what that means is that even if they vote to acquit Trump, the nodes of fate may have a final say, and things that are outside of the control of that whole scenario may still have a final say with what happens. So anyway, that being said, we're going to move on to other things in the zodiac and also do some Valentine's Day stuff. We've got Pluto at 25 Capricorn. I have this chart, and you're going to see it up here next to me anyway, but this chart is showing all of the planetary positions for the sky right now. And you see that there are not a lot of planets in half of the sky. Like, everything falls into Capricorn through Cancer. And so Cancer through Capricorn really, I think, maybe only has the node of fate, the north node of fate, and pretty much nothing else. So it's pretty amazing energy right now that we're really highly focused in the Aquarian part of the sky and also Taurus. So of course that doesn't give me as much to talk about for what's going on day to day, but I will tell you what's coming up throughout the week on a micro astrology level. So we've got the shadow of Saturn begins this weekend on Sunday, which means that Saturn will be going retrograde later on in the year. And the energy of the shadow comes in this Sunday. I will tell you, let me see, Saturn goes retrograde May 22nd and stays retrograde through October 10th and goes all the way back to 6 degrees of Aquarius at 53 minutes, so 6:53. And so that's the degree that Saturn hits as of Sunday. And so look for career issues, anything that you are going to be going back over for the course of the Saturn retrograde through the meat of summer, actually. What I say, May through October, we're going to have that retrograde. And so we're going to feel the career issues adjusting. Definite big adjustment period. The Saturn direct in Aquarius is wanting independence, freedom, and autonomy. Saturn retrograde going back towards Capricorn is kind of like if a child was going off to preschool and they went in to the preschool and their parent was with them, and then mom or dad has to leave them there, and the child comes back and wants to go back with the parents. That's Saturn retrograde going back towards Capricorn. When Saturn goes direct, the child's ready to move on and go forward. And yes, Saturn will retrograde next year, but Saturn will be in the middle decan of the zodiac by then, not at the beginning. So it's still kind of a new energy, and it's still kind of new independence, new autonomy. And so you can expect that when Saturn goes retrograde this year, it's going to be, I don't know if I'm quite ready to handle all the responsibility of this new authority that I have gained. And so when we go into the shadow period, we're going to see what those themes are on where Saturn is in our charts. And it's in my personal house of Gemini, the third house, communications and expression, broadcasting, that kind of thing. So wherever it falls in your chart, that's where you're going to see that career energy connect in. Right now, just as an example, I've got a lot of difficulty with my technology. And I have batteries dying, I have memory running out, I have inability to upgrade, update, to make room for these things. And it's like a no on everything I'm doing. So to get it done, my Mars, the Mars in Taurus is pushing against all that, wanting to just keep after it, be tenacious. And so I'm having to put in a lot of extra effort just to get to baseline right now. And that's pretty much what Mars squaring, let me see, Mars is at 18 right now, so he's squaring Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and the Sun. And he's not quite in square to Saturn, but actually he's going to move on to Gemini before he squares Saturn. So I think he already did have a square to Saturn, but he's past that now. So he's still got Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, and the Sun all squaring. And so, yeah, we're really having kind of a battle of ideology, of do we stick with it, stay tenacious, get our way the way we want, or do we give in to freedom and not, having your nose to the grindstone and just plowing through. And the symbology of Taurus is the bull, and it is a very strong imagery for what that is about. It's the tenacity of just going for it repetitively versus wanting it done quickly. The mindset of let's just do it all really quickly and let's have it done. So we're running up against this real strong discord between how can we get it done and how can we just do it quickly. This is a really good spot to go over the Super Bowl stuff that I said before we get to some of the Valentine's Day stuff. But the Super Bowl chart was pretty much just about the same chart we have today, only the moon was, I think it was just approaching Pluto or just after Pluto in Capricorn. But we had a moon in, it just went in, so it was 1 degree of Capricorn. So during the kickoff of the Super Bowl, I had said last week that whichever team was the Aquarian team, the home team, would likely have the advantage through strategy and, the throwing game, which at the time I said was the Buccaneers. I had someone say, well, which team do you think is going to win? And like I said, I recorded it 6 times and I said it repetitively. So if I didn't have it in the last iteration, that's probably why. But it was the Bucs that I had picked, and they were in fact the home team by call. And then Taurus Mars was the away team, and they were struggling. I mean, Mahomes, the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, just couldn't get a game going, and he was really frustrated. Although I have to say, he showed considerable restraint. He did not look angry. He looked kind of like he couldn't understand what was going on and was just about to give up. I mean, he looked really sad. I really did have some sympathy for him because it was a really difficult game for him. But the Bucs won, and they had the Aquarian power behind them. So that energy is still kind of in the air for the impeachment trial. And so, the thing is, though, that the moon is now in a different sign, and the moon is the indicator of how it will turn out. Right now, given what I know of timing and how I think it's going to go, I think that he probably has a strong potential to be acquitted, with nodes of fate coming in, stepping in, and having the final say. So that sounds a little ominous, but it could be a little ominous. We don't know. Something could happen, and it might be after the fact instead of before the fact. It could be a trial. Who knows? Anyway, another trial, like a criminal trial. Okay, moving on. So now we're going to get to a little bit more fun stuff. Well, actually, let's just see if there's anything else I need to tell you about next week coming up. Well, we've got President's Day on Monday, and the moon is in Aries, sextile to Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus. So that means that we're going to have a pretty forward-moving day. Well, this is what was going to happen. The banks are closed and the government's closed on Monday. So all of the frustration is going to not really be expressed in a way that culminates on that day. But given that with Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus, the planets I said were all in a square to Mars. If nothing gets done by Saturday as far as a vote, they may not be able to vote till Tuesday. And Tuesday, we have a stronger moon in Aries until the evening, which means that it's going to be in the same area and vicinity as when the insurrection happened. So, it's going to be an interesting trial. I wish I could say, I haven't really studied it any more deeply than that. It's going to be interesting. Wherever the moon is will definitely indicate how it turns out. If the choices and decisions and voting are done with the moon coming up on Neptune on Saturday, he's probably going to get acquitted. And if it comes to next week, then it's going to be a little bit harder. There's going to be that dogmatic vote of we're just going to do it because we can do it, and it'll be against everything that this country is wanting, because this country right now is represented by Aquarius. So, it'll be a financial choice and about the money, and it's not going to be good either way. The planets the way they are, whatever happens, as long as it isn't an impeachment, a fulfillment of the impeachment, it's probably not going to be very pretty, according to the astrology. Okay, let's see. Sun enters Pisces at 5:44 p.m. on Thursday of next week. And so we're going to have the energies really drop from clarity down into water. It's probably going to be another snowstorm, because having a lot of Neptune energy is the snow and water, and having the sun, that's basically where we're focusing. That's where the attention goes. I'm not going to go much beyond that for now. And I'm sorry, repeating myself a lot with a lot of the electronics right now is very draining for me. I apologize. So many planets in Aquarius really do affect me, because I have 4 planets in Virgo, including the ruler of Aquarius, and it's right near my sun. And I have an opposition to Neptune with all my Virgo planets. I have an inconjunct negative aspect to all the Aquarius planets, and an opposition to my Venus and Mars with the Aquarius planets. So it's kind of draining on me right now, to be honest, I'm sorry to say. But anyway, for Valentine's Day, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what each sign can expect as far as what they're looking to have, for what they're going through on Valentine's Day, or at least within love. Let's just do a more general love reading. So Aries, the friendships are really important, and you're feeling a little bit more cut off from your friendships right now. You do have Mars and Taurus in love and house being a couple. You also have Uranus there. So if you have a relationship, it could be challenged right now, and you may be rethinking the kind of person you want to be with. And so that's kind of coming up for you. Valentine's Day may not be as much may not have as much meaning for you with all this square to the house of friendship. So you're probably going through some relationship upheaval this Valentine's Day, honestly. Same for Taurus. Taurus rules love and money. And so, as far as I know, Taurians are very romantic, along with Leos. And Uranus in Taurus means that there's a certain detachment from that right now, and you're feeling like you don't necessarily want to do the same hearts and flowers, but Mars is plowing forward with that. And it may not, if you give Valentine's, Taurus may not get the ego satisfaction or the heart satisfaction from the reaction of the loved one. And it could also mean that there is some friction around what's going on with love, and as it relates to your friends or your work duties through the people that you are working with. Gemini, you've got all this energy. Basically what I'm doing is going around the zodiac telling you where your Aquarius and your Taurus falls, because that's where all the power is, with the exception of Pluto and Capricorn late degrees and Neptune at 19 of Pisces. So Gemini, you've got a square to Neptune, and you've got, I'm sorry, I've got a little itch in my eyes. So you're squaring Neptune, which is the ideal, the romanticized, emotional side of things. And that can mean that you may actually have to work during Valentine's Day, because Neptune's up there in your career house. But you've also got ideas that you would like to travel and go somewhere. That's where our Aquarius is falling for you, and Venus. So your love relationships are coming at you out of the blue, and strong potential from people of other cultures and people who live far away, or a long distance relationship. Cancer, the moon is going to be in Neptune until, actually, I think until Valentine. Neptune. Did I say Neptune? Did I say the moon is going to be in Neptune? The moon is going to be in Pisces. Gosh, I hope I didn't say that. Until Sunday, the 14th. So that's going to happen for you around 1 in the morning, which means all of us are going to have moon in Aries, which is a very strong energy of sex and male drive. So if you do something sporty or sexy, sex is probably going to be part of it for you, Cancer. And I would also say you probably have some strong laughter coming your way with your ninth house, or let me see, yeah, ninth house triggered by Neptune. That's the house of comedy and amusement and entertainment. So it could be a good Valentine's Day for our Cancers out there. And with the exception, there are some of you Cancers who have been having a difficult time with your marriage. And all the Aquarius falls in the commitment part of your marriage and a detachment. So if you've had a recent detachment from your marital situation, sadly, that's my sister's rising. And so it's going to be much more, if you are a married Cancer, it's going to be much more emotional or introspective as a Valentine's Day. And yeah, you're not going to be as engaged with this Valentine's Day. Leo, again, also Aquarius energy falling in your house of marriage and partnership. Neptune is in commitment. So you're detaching from one partnership situation and looking maybe towards another more idealized version of it. And so that can either mean you're really done with that relationship, or you want to change it up and shift how you feel about it, which could be really awesome for you. Leo is ruled by the sun, and that's in Aquarius this Valentine's Day. So you're feeling not as appreciated and probably not as close to your partner as you would like to be. But communication is a big thing. Mercury retrograde in Aquarius in your house of marriage means talk it out, talk through what's going on. Maybe even watch some videos or do something, online, or something that incorporates technology, gaming, I don't know, game playing. Okay, Virgos. Virgo, you have Taurus up in the house of travel, so there is a stronger desire to go somewhere for Valentine's Day, someplace romantic and a small getaway. That'd be awesome for you. And then you also have all of the Aquarius in the house of work and service. So you're learning how to detach from being responsible for others in the workplace, but also learning how to be responsible for your own business. And that's the entrepreneurial bent. And so having Venus in Aquarius in the house of work and service, Virgos are really being triggered for their workaholic personalities, and you may not even end up doing anything for Valentine's Day because of the workaholism. But if you do, you will do something that is of service and thoughtful, because that's your nature, Virgo. Also Libra. Libra is really connecting into their friendship zone. Aquarius falls in friends. Mars falls in commitment. So this is a really strong time for meeting that person, a new relationship, especially with the new moon. Got lots of chills for you, Libra. Remember, Aquarius trines the Libra energy, and so you're getting this really strong north node of fate in Gemini and trine to your sun or your rising sign and your moon, and then it's finished off in a grand trine with Aquarius. So we're really seeing some strong energy around the sense of self, coupled with a commitment to a friend, or finding someone who thinks of things in a more unique, unusual way for you, for the Aquarian energy, Libra. Scorpio. Hi, Scorpio people. Scorpions are feeling this strong Aquarian energy in the house of home and family. It's really pulling you away from your family life and feeling like now you're really ready to be done with certain family storylines. Venus is there, so right now there is a stronger inclination towards sticking closer to home over Valentine's Day, but Mars is in your house of marriage and partnership, and so you are interested in finding that permanent partner. Uranus is also up there, so even though you have all the Aquarius in your house of home and family, Uranus is up in the house of marriage and partnership, giving you the idea of how to foretell and really envision the kind of partner you want. And Mars will soon be in Gemini, really giving you opportunities with a trine to the Aquarius energy, and redefining what home is for you and redefining what being in a marriage partner or relationship is for you. Sagittarius, your ruling planet is Jupiter, and that is in the third house of communications right now. So you're going through a really strong mental freeing up of clutter, so to speak. You're coming up with so many new ideas, and you're attracting in people who are very chatty, who are friendship oriented and they're really attracted to your charisma. And you've also got some neighbors that could potentially come up and want to be with you. It is the house of neighbors and siblings. You may be going through some drama with your siblings, just so you know, because that's the third house energy. And the moon Neptune in your house of home and family means you want to kind of cuddle up and stay close to home. But if you don't, it's not going to be as fulfilling for you right now. Capricorn, your sign still has the last degrees of Pluto in it, but thankfully all of the energy is in your house of coupling up, but it's in Aquarius. So that means that you're able to stand on your own much more. You're looking to be less responsible for everyone else. These were the issues you've been going through recently. And so now you're really looking to detach from some of the responsibility and ownership within the partnership and letting your partner do it, or even just doing your own thing and having a Valentine's Day cake for yourself. And then having Neptune moon in your third house, that is idealized viewpoints, and maybe you're not seeing things completely clearly right now, especially with Mercury retrograde. And so Capricorn, just I would say lie low and just chill out at the home. Maybe spend time with siblings, because Neptune and Moon are in your house of siblings, or a neighbor, and have maybe the Valentine's Day celebration. Okay, Aquarius, everything's lighting you up, as we know, and so that's including Venus, which means you're highly charismatic for everybody out there, and it means that there's a strong possibility that someone's coming in who does want to be with you, is fun and adventurous and very chatty. You enjoy a good conversation, and happy birthday to you. So coming into Pisces, that's where all the Aquarius is in your 12th house, and that means that you may have a little crush on a friend, and you really need to see things clearly, but you're probably going to have a super dreamy, sleepy Valentine's Day, so you might even go to bed early, but you could go to bed with a friend, and that could be fun. So anyway, that's my Valentine's Day love scope for all of you. And with that, I am going to wrap it up and hopefully get this up earlier than I did last week. So with that, I hope to see you next week. Take care, and bye. Wow. Just can't get your mouth on straight today.
You have been listening to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show. If you would like to get a private reading with Shelley, please contact her through angeliczodiac.com or at so@angeliczodiac.com. You can arrange a reading through the Angelic Zodiac page at facebook.com as well. Check out Angelic Zodiac on Instagram for up-to-date information on events, discounts, blogs and planetary transits at Angelic Zodiac 1 on Instagram. If you would like to see Shelley's art, shellyeoverton.com, or for astrology art, go to astroart.net. Music provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. Other music will be credited within the show. Advice given in the program is intended for entertainment purposes only. Join us here next week for more of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show podcast. You can find us on iTunes and Google Play, and where podcasts are accessed.